Hey, this is Frank at the RV shop in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and this is a 2023 DRV Full House MX 450. This is a toy hauler, so this is one of the most luxurious toy haulers you can get in a fifth wheel configuration. We're going to give you a look around it and an orientation, basically a quick start guide on how to use most of its major components. So we're going to start out here on the right side, or passenger side, and we're going to work our way around to the other side. So starting off right here in this big bay, see, we got humongous amount of storage. Now this is some of the electronics for the in-command system, touch control system. You got some outlets there for a TV. There's a TV out right there. And of course you got lighting. Now these lights have little switches here. It's a two-way rocker. In the middle is off, to the left is on, to the right is on with motion. It's got little Roman numerals up there on top of the light. So Roman numeral 1 is just on. Roman numeral 2 to the right is on with motion. So you do have motion sensors. That's the outlet for your the exhaust for your furnace. You got a 110 outlet here. This is what holds the door when you have it open. Our big entry step, keyless entry pad there where you can set a code. All that, of course, the instructions for that are in your owner's manuals inside. Now we have an awning here on the side, and another awning here in the back. So we got two really nice awnings. Plus, if you look over here, there's another awning here towards the front of the coach. So you have a total of 3 awnings on this big coach. 2 on the right side, on the door side, and 1 in the back where the ramp or deck is. And of course, another entry step to get you into the back of the coach or the garage. We got some storage there. We got outside speakers. And of course, the big ramp. It does have a, this is where you can open it. The key right there. Now on this side, other than, you also have your ladder. Get up on the roof. You have this area here, which has a little bit of storage, but also more importantly is your shore power cord. It does have a switch there, so it is a manual pull out and power retract using that button right there. That's how you retract it. And then this area is where the fuel goes. So this fuel tank here, this is for your generator. Fuel for the generator goes in here, and the fuel for the fuel dispenser goes in here. And this little gauge here will tell you what the fuel levels are in each particular tank. So again, you turn it on right there at that switch. And that is the fuel pump or fuel dispenser. That's this one right here. Comes off of this tank. As I said, this tank here is just for to feed the generator. This compartment is just access to the back of the refrigerator. Here you'll find more storage. There's the wrench for your water filter. And of course, that is where you hook up your hose to dump your tanks. Additionally, you'll find your spare tire right there. You remove it from the other side. And here is your exhaust for your generator. And here is where your water related stuff. This is your wet bay. So of course you got outside shower sprayer right here. Hot and cold water. You got connections for cable and satellite in right there. Now, to use the water system, you only have this one water connection. That's city water. However, that city water is also used for city water and also to fill your. It's also used for city water and also to fill your onboard tank. You just basically hook up your hose there, and depending on how you configure these valves right there is how this is going to operate. So for example, in the top left you see it says dry camping. So just orient the valves like it shows there in the picture. If you want to fill your tank, then orient the valves like it shows in the picture, and that'll redirect that water from that connection to your onboard water tank. Or configure them like it says there in that picture that says city water, and you'll get city water, right? Now this black connection is primarily for winterizing. You're not really going to use that mainly. You're going to use this white one over here. That is to flush your black tank, right? So after you've dumped your tanks, you can flush your tanks with that right there. And as I said, that one is to flush your tanks and winterize the coach. Something we're not going to cover in this orientation, because normally we recommend you have that done by your RV dealer. And of course, those are your two valves, black and gray, where you dump your tanks, right? Black tank and gray tank. Those will exit right there. This is the outside of your water heater. And on this side, there's some, you can access some of the guts of this stuff here, right? So there's your water filter. I showed you the wrench for it there on the outside compartment. That's where the water filter lives. Our inverter and converter systems are located in the front. However, here you do have some other components, like your water pump is hidden back there. You have this big manifold here. This is to shut water off to a particular item. So in case you got a leak, you don't have to shut the whole coach down. You just shut off the particular area where the leak is. Now, additionally, we have this touch control panel where we can level the coach and retract the jacks and all that stuff. However, it's a lot easier to use this control panel on the outside. Propane tanks, you have two tanks. You can see that they're on a track, on a slide out, so you can slide them out to make it easier to have them filled. And of course, they put this nice little quick start guide for your jacks in case you forgot how to use them. But it's fairly simple to use the jacks. Basically, see that panel? You're going to hold these two buttons for approximately 5 seconds, and that will wake up the control panel. You see the green light come on right there, indicating that it is awake. Now you can move it down, you can move it up, or we can hit auto level, which we're going to do now. Right there, the coach is in the process of doing the auto level. Once the system is done, this light will turn a solid green, and the jacks, of course, will stop moving. So it'll also emit a beep. I mean, the beep you're not really going to hear unless you're standing right by it. But needless to say, our leveling is complete. You can see that all 6 legs are down. Now, if you're wondering, some people ask, like, are these jacks bent? Because if you look at them, they're kind of sitting at an angle, kind of pointed out. That is the way they're designed. So they are angled outwards, at least the rear ones. The front ones too, but not as much as the back ones. I don't know, maybe they are all the same amount of angle, but seems like the back are more. So in this bay, this front facing bay, you have your inverter right there. You have your 2 house batteries. Now it does have space to add another 2 batteries if you wanted to upgrade it. That is on a rack that slides out with that yellow lever. We have our hydraulic pump. Now, important, do not use this. There's a button there for the inverter to turn on and off. Do not use that. You're going to use the button inside, right? So do not mess with that right there. Just use the button inside to turn it off and on. Now, more importantly, you have your disconnect switch. That's the on position. You can see the green right there. The other way to the red, where if you turn it to the right or counterclockwise, you'll turn it off. That cuts off the connection to these batteries. So obviously, if it was going to be sitting in storage and not be plugged into shore power, you turn that big knob off. Otherwise, it stays on, especially if you're plugged into shore power. Otherwise, these batteries will not charge. That is your hydraulic pump up there. That runs the jacks and the slides. Now in this bay is where our generator lives. 5,500 watt Onan gas generator. That's what the fuel tank is for that we saw on the side. Behind this access door, there is a start-stop switch. There is also a breaker. So if ever you have your generator running but no power, no 110 power, check the breaker out here. Now here under the steps, that's where you can see that knob. You unscrew that knob if you want to take your spare tire down. That's where that is. Comes out from the right side or passenger side. Now we're going to come inside. All right, so we're in the coach here, it's a very big coach. So we're going to go over the major components in here. We're not going to go over every single little tiny item, but we will go over major components that you need to know how to operate, right? So we're going to start off here at this section because this is where the main control panel is, right? So in here, we have our touch control panel. We're gonna wake it up by touching it. And see, like, you have all these different icons. So one thing we can do, we're gonna go here to the generator, touch here. And that is where we can control our generator. So we're gonna prime it. And generally I'll hold that for about 10 seconds. And that runs the fuel pump to pressurize the fuel lines to the generator. And then I'm gonna hit start. And that's gonna start our generator. Now the power doesn't come on instantly. It's going to take about 30 to 45 seconds as the electricity stabilizes on the system. I mentioned the inverter on the outside. Do not use the buttons on the outside. I don't know if you heard that beep. That was the power coming online from the generator. So we now have 110 power. So As I was saying, the inverter, so this is where you turn it off and on. You can see that it's on. Anytime it's on and you have 110 power come in, either through shore power or generator power, this will automatically go, it puts itself into standby mode. So you can leave it on all the time if you prefer, if it's always, you know, plugged in or connected to your truck or whatever. But otherwise, if you have no need for inverter power because you're always connected or using your generator, then you can just turn this off. I'm gonna hold this. There you go, green light goes off. So, you know, getting back to this panel. So here at a glance, we can see our fresh tank is, looks like, our fresh tank looks about 75% full. Black tank is empty. Gray one has a little bit of water in it. So, and our fuel tank is mostly empty, not enough to register. We put a little bit of fuel in there to run the generator. However, it needs more fuel, certainly. So we just basically touch stuff we want to control. Here we can touch climate in here by cycling fan, cool, heat, auto, off. You just basically touch it and cycle through the different modes. Now this is our main AC. This is like, I guess, living room. Or we can press that button there, or actually we'll press this button here, switch to the bedroom AC, third AC, and that's where it ends. Third AC is in the back in the garage, right? Now we'll go back to this main page, then we can get to our lighting. All our lights are currently on. There's like 3 pages of lighting. See that? Now you can see all the lights. They have these up arrows and down arrows next to each light, and that's basically the dimmer. So I can hit minus. Right there, I put that one at 40%. Or I can put it back up to 100%. Or I can turn it off. See that? That's off. It's back on. So we'll come back out of there, out of our lighting page. And here on this slides button, we can control our slides. We have 4 slides on this coach. In and out. Fairly simple to operate. Then we have our awnings. So we have awning 1 and awning 2. Now these are the awnings on the right side of the coach, the door side of the coach. So those are here. It does have a control for the awning at the back of the coach, in the back. Ceiling fan. Well, that's that right there, right? You turn that off. There's an amber porch light that we can control from right there. Generator, well, we just saw that. The settings. This is where we can set up our different, there's some service related stuff that you can't change. However, if we want to pair this by Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, we can do so right there for Wi-Fi control with our Winegard system. We can also turn water pump on and off right here. We have interior lights. We'll turn them off from right there. Exterior lights, security lights, or scare lights as some people call them. Now we also have this other panel. This panel also it's kind of redundant. It's telling you the same thing as this right here. So if ever for whatever reason this was not working, you can still press this and it'll tell you what the voltage is here, which usually mirrors this right here. Same thing with the tanks. 75%, 75%. Gray shows 29%. That's about equal to that. And then black is 4%, which is that tiny little amount that's shown there. Then it shows you propane and fuel. See this one here? This one doesn't show fuel. This one does right there. So you can see that our fuel tank is about empty. Now this over here is basically monitoring your electricity. It's just telling you that, you know, it's monitoring the air conditioning and water heater, and basically the air conditioning and the water heater are what this thing monitors. It'll cut those things off if it feels it needs to keep you from blowing breakers. Like let's say you were using a whole bunch of stuff in here, had everything on and had a power strip connected with extra stuff, and you were in danger of going over the 50 amps of service that this coach can provide, it would shut off one of those monitored systems, like your water heater or one of your air conditioners, to avoid you from going over that 50 amp limit. So also you can tell it by going select. So we can say select when we get to this screen. Right now we're on 30 amp service, or we can say nope, draw no more than 20, or draw no more than 15, or go back up to 30. So depending on what kind of service you're plugged into. So if we were plugged into a 50 amp service outlet, you could tell it, it would be showing 50 amp right there. However, if you were plugged into a 30, like we are with an adapter, you'd basically change it from 50 to 30. That way you don't try to draw too much amperage from that connection. Or you plug it into your 110 outlet at home, you would put it on 15, because you don't want to try to draw 50 amps from your 15 amp outlet, right? You'll burn something up or trip a breaker, or all of the above. So cap lights, this is where you turn on the pretty lights in the front. Now this remote control is for that fan right there. That's where you turn that on. And of course this is your control for your water heater. So you have to turn it off in steps. Of course, make sure that the switch is on the outside. Typically the switch on the outside stays on all the time. You don't have to turn that off. But so you would normally turn this to the on position. You're going to put it in comfort mode, which is that first position up. That's comfort. Then you're going to turn this on over here, gas and electric. Turn that on, and then this one will come on right there. So you got to do all that. It's a little convoluted, but it is what it is. We don't make these, we just sell them. But it's a fantastic system once it gets up and running. So that'll give you, it's a tankless water heater, so it'll give you all the hot water you need. Turn that back off. Now, moving on from that, we have 12 volt automotive style fuses, and then we have 110 breakers down here. So that's your power center. Moving on from there, we have these are recliners, as well as these are electric. These over here are manual. In our kitchen, of course, we have our stove. So it is a gas stove. By gas, I mean propane. Right? Oh, I'm sorry. This middle one is the oven. Then you have lights, pretty blue lights, oven light. Now that will turn on whether or not you use the lights. That fireplace is an electric heater also, so you can set it up and just turn it on and just have the pretty lights showing. Or you can have the heat turned on right there. The heat's turned on. Now this TV with sound bar, see this little clamp will allow it to open up. Behind it you see you have some storage back here. And push it back, and it locks in place. Now above it you have a DVD player, some connections, that's your JBL subwoofer, and here's your button to turn off your TV antenna. If you ever hook up cable from a campground, you'll want to turn that off. Now if you use the WineGuard system to subscribe to internet service, hotspot service, you'll want to turn that on. That turns the system on and off. Now additionally we have remotes. touch-up paint for the outside. A bunch of owner's manuals for stuff. There's your observation monitor that goes in your pickup truck, and that'll connect wirelessly to the camera that's on the back of the coach. Now, of course, our refrigerator. Now, important thing about this refrigerator, so this is a residential refrigerator. It only operates on 110, no propane or 12 volts. It's just 110. So that needs 110 power to operate. So that's where this inverter comes in. So when you're not connected to shore power and you don't have your generator running, that refrigerator has no way to stay on. That's what this inverter is for. You turn that on, and that will take 12 volt power from the batteries and turn it into 110 to keep that refrigerator running. So when you're pulling it down the road, you simply turn on your inverter, and that'll keep your refrigerator nice and cold. Make sense? So moving on. Now this coach has the Halo system by Winegard. This is kind of like an Alexa type system, so where you can communicate with it by speech. So, and that has to do with that hub. It needs to be set up. It's not currently set up. You have to pair it. You have to download the app to your phone and follow the instructions and the manuals that are in that drawer that I showed you to set it all up. You'll have to set up your Winegard account. It allows you to scan that QR code. There's a little QR code on that label right there. But basically, when the system is working, you'll be able to say, "Okay, RV, turn off the lights." Well, it's not currently set up, so it didn't work. But normally, that's what would happen. You'd be able to talk to it like that, kind of like Alexa. And it'll also handle putting out awnings and slides and other things. I think pretty much anything that's connected to your in-command system here, your touch control system, pretty much anything that's connected to that, it'll be able to control. Also, we have these little touch control panels throughout the coach. You got one there, you got one here in the kitchen. There's more in the back, in the bedroom and in the bathroom. So you can turn off and on lights from these touch control panels, for example, just by touching, right? Scare lights, that's a security light. You got 3 pages here. Control the dimmers as well. Pretty neat. This funny looking thing right there, that's a temperature sensor for the air conditioning system. Now in here in the bathroom, washer and dryer. Now this glass door, you have to be careful when you're traveling that you lock this latch. Otherwise this thing will break. Like right there, that looks like it's locked, but it's not. Until you hear this sound, it is not locked. So it's basically just sitting there resting on it. So as soon as you hit a bump, that thing's just gonna kind of bounce out of there. So you wanna lock it, because this glass is expensive. Shower, very roomy shower. Sink, and here's another touch control panel for the lights in here. Of course, your toilet. As you can see, a foot flush toilet. Coming into the bedroom, our bed, there is some storage under the bed. Wireless phone charger built in right there on that little shelf. And you have another touch control panel right there for the lights when you're laying in bed. Another outlet out here on this side as well as that side for charging phones and storage, and a shelf right there, plus storage up there. Now lots of storage here as well as the TV. And then this is our big closet in the back. Now this is a light switch here for the closet, right? When you close your closet door, make sure you latch this here. There we go. Now, another temperature sensor for the air conditioning in the bedroom. So the air conditioning, these are vents where the air comes out. That's those round ones. And you see those throughout the coach. And then you also have vents, these, where air goes in. So these inside is the filters that you clean from time to time. They're like a sponge filter. You pop these grills off, wash the filters in the sink, let them air dry, and you put them right back. Simple as that. Now, additionally, I forgot to mention, here in the bathroom there is another control for your ceiling fan. Now we're going to make our way to the closet. I'm sorry. We're going to make our way to the garage. Now in the garage we have our Happy Jack bunk beds. And those are controlled from here. We're going to move these down. Now normally what happens, that top bed stops right there, and this one will continue on down. And you just set this bottom one at whatever height you want. Like normally, like you say that you want to use it. Like there is a table up here that you would set up here between, like for example, we're going to take this and this kind of tumbles back, right? These tumble back. So you tumble that back. Now you set up this table right here in the middle, so it becomes basically like a dinette. Otherwise, if you're not using this stuff, you just simply move it up and out of your way. And there is a step that attaches to the back ramp. It's got a little clamping system to attach it to the back ramp. When you, like, if you're using the back, not so much as a ramp but as a deck, that the step could attach to the back of the deck to allow you to go up the steps and into the back of the garage. Right. Now additionally, you have controls here for these awnings here, and another touch control for the lights in the garage. And that control is for the fan right there. You have storage, another big TV, and you can see you got tie downs on the floor. Now those clips, those metal tabs right there, if you run this all the way up, like lay those flat the way they were, run this all the way up, you can clip those, put those pins in, and lock this thing in the up position completely. There's some holes here. See those pins right there where you can stick those pins in, and it'll lock it completely up. That way, if you want to use the space to put in golf carts, ATVs, whatever, motorcycles, small car, I guess. This is going to bring our walkthrough and orientation to a close. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. Anyway, this is Frank at the RV shop in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I hope you found this useful, and I hope you enjoy this amazing camper. Have a fantastic day.